South Carolina. I know you can't tell it by looking at me, but I am married to one of the most beautiful women on the face of the earth. I'm assuming that applause is for me and not for her. We live on a golf course. And I have every ESPN sports channel that you can have. So there's no reason for me to ever leave South Carolina. Except I love your congressman. I see the signs. I see the signs. I like Mike. I need Mike. You may like him. I need him. And I'm going to tell you why. Benghazi's part of it. Benghazi's very important. I need good inquisitors who are fair-minded, who can then help me go take the message and persuade. We need to persuade our fellow citizens. This sign says Benghazi matters. We need to persuade our fellow citizens why it matters. We need to persuade our fellow citizens to want to dig deep and find out, was the security adequate? Was the response adequate? And do you expect your government to level with you in the aftermath of a tragedy? Does that matter? To me, it matters. So I need help finding the facts, and then I need help communicating the facts to my fellow citizens. But it's not just Benghazi. This will come as a shock to y'all that there's a committee on Capitol Hill that has the word intelligence in it. But there's a committee called the House Intelligence Committee. All right? You're picked to be on that. You don't get to volunteer. You're picked. And you're picked because you have to have a really unique skill set. You have to be smart. You have to be honorable. You have to have character. And you have to know when to keep your mouth shut. Because we don't need our national secrets broadcast by people with loose lips. So here's the great thing. Your congressman is on the House Intelligence Committee. That is an incredible honor for you. For you, it is an honor. What's the downside? He can't come home and tell you everything he's doing. He's taken an oath not to. He can't tell me everything he's doing.
We trust him.
I trust him too, and God bless you for saying that. You are lucky to have somebody that is respected enough by his peers, his intellect, his ability to persuade, his character. You're lucky to have him. So I'm not here because I like him. I do like him. But I like lots of my colleagues, and I'm not in their hometowns today. I need him. I need him. I celebrate my 25th wedding anniversary on Tuesday. Here's the good news. I thought ahead. And I ran by Home Depot the last time I was home. And the lawnmower is being delivered the morning of our anniversary. Now, I don't want any of the ladies out there thinking that I forgot about our anniversary. I did not. 25 years on August the 5th. I turned 50 in 3 weeks. My kids are healthy. My son finished college. My daughter's on track to finish high school. I have been blessed. I have been blessed, and I was thinking on the plane ride last night because I couldn't sleep. And you couldn't sleep either if you had Pompeo snoring in the seat right beside you. But I couldn't sleep, so I started thinking to myself, I was just counting my blessings, one of which is being born in this country.
Right.
It's right. I think, okay, what is it about this country? The world's blowing up. The world's blowing up in all these different spots, but yet the Lord blessed me by letting me be born in the United States of America through no merit of my own. It's just the circumstances of my birth. But what makes this country different? And I thought, to me, as a former prosecutor, what makes it different is the poorest person in America is on the exact same footing, according to the law, as the richest person in America. They got to drive the same speed limit. They got to pay their taxes on the same date. Justice for us is represented by a blindfolded woman. She cannot see who is in front of her, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, black, white, brown, male, female, doesn't matter. The law is the most unifying force in our culture, and the law is the most equalizing force in our culture. And we need to start winning national elections because I want an attorney general who actually enforces the law. And we're not going to get it if we don't start winning elections. So it matters. What happens Tuesday matters in Kansas. What happens in November matters greatly. And frankly, what happens in 2016 matters. I think the message still works. I think the message of personal responsibility and peace through strength, if we hadn't figured out looking at the world right now that we are peaceful when we are strongest and most respected, accountability to others, education and hard work being the pathway to prosperity, our message still works. What we need are messengers like your congressman who can combine smarts with persuasion, with character, and we need to persuade. I spent 16 years standing in front of 12 people who could not get out of jury service. They could. I mean, let's be honest. If they could have gotten out, they wouldn't have been there, right? They didn't know the sheriff. They didn't know the clerk of court. They didn't know the judge. So they're in front of me, and I've got to persuade them, not 7-5. That's great in politics. You're a lousy prosecutor if 5 people vote against you. It's got to be 12-0. And you got to do it beyond a reasonable doubt. So how do you persuade? How do you do it in your everyday life? The truth works, but you got to have a relationship with them. They got to trust you. They got to think you're authentic and you're credible and you're honest and you're trustworthy.
Right.
So can you have a congressman who is smart and trustworthy and honest and authentic and persuasive? You got one. So you may like him, but I need him. Mike said I only had 2.5 hours, so I'm getting towards the end. I do want to tell you this, and I had not planned to tell you this, but I couldn't help listening to that wounded warrior, and I met some other folks who served in the military.